Hello and welcome to the Rakyat Times TV News. I'm Mick Hu. Prominent activist Datin Paduka Marina Mahathir has appealed to Putrajaya to find a humanitarian solution to the Rohingya refugee crisis. She said that Malaysia had many Navy ships that could be used to supply food, water and medicine to help alleviate the suffering of the refugees. Marina said that there was a huge humanitarian crisis going on and Putrajaya could not close its eyes to the unfolding tragedy. She pointed out that at government level, communications between ASEAN governments was needed to put pressure on Myanmar, which is seen as the root of massive tragedy. Today in our studio, we have the director of the Naganita. She's also a consultant on human trafficking, Aegile Fernandez, and also Hayati Ismail, a social activist who is representing Rakyat for Rakyat and Food Aid. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. And let's start with you, Aegile. You are an expert in human trafficking and migrant workers and refugees. A lot of Malaysians are confused between refugees and migrant workers. Can you tell us more about this?
Okay, if you talk about migrant workers, they are economic workers who are unable to find jobs, who live in poverty, and they come out to another country to seek work, right? And therefore, there is also a process in place where countries that are the receiving countries for migrants and what jobs are available. So they are known as migrant workers, right, to the country. But on the other hand, if you look at refugees, refugees are people who are fleeing from their homeland because they're undergoing either a form of ethnic cleansing, persecution, right? And they are fleeing for their lives, and therefore they are seeking refuge. And that's when they start the exodus, coming up to countries where they think they can receive protection.
Hayati, you have been urging the public to help on the donation drive for the refugees. Can you tell us more about your this fundraising activity?
Okay, as you know, Rakyat for Rakyat, we have always been about helping people, regardless race, religion, nationality. But for this drive, when we saw that, there are people stranded at sea, kids especially, I have very soft heart for children and women. So when I saw the pictures taken by BBC where there's children and women, I started contacting all of my Rakyat for Rakyat
volunteers,
people, and asked, okay, do you want to do something for them? And then, of course, we are in contact with another party who's our liaison person, but I cannot disclose it here, I'm very sorry, to find the best way to give this aid over to them. Our concern is, of course, the boat people, because they are drifting at sea and they are being pushed away, being towed away, and we don't know, they are left with no food, hungry, and the boat is overcrowded. There are like 600 to 1,000 people per boat, fisherman's boat, which is ridiculous. It's no sane human would want to be in that situation now.
How long have they been on the boat?
I think since today is I think more than a week. But they have been on the boat for between 3 to 4 months, and they're at our shore for the last more than a week plus. But we decided to do this drive because we know with our we are very limited with Food Aid Foundation. We are just a food bank serving the local community, but we don't have that much funds to be buying all the provisions for them. And there are 1,000 plus of them who's detained now in the detention center at Camp Belanta, and they too need some help and assistance from us.
Aegile, some Malaysians argued that, oh no, we shouldn't welcome these refugees because it will impact on our economy, etc. They should be sent back. But what are the consequences of sending them back? What would they face?
I think the first thing that we need to understand, the public need to understand, is that when there are asylum seekers and refugees fleeing for safety of their lives, they cannot be sent back to where they are being persecuted. It's the first thing that we need to understand. Now, if you look at what's happening in Burma, Myanmar today, there are horrible stories, testimonies that refugees have shared. The recent tragedy that happened, which was told to one of the members of parliament in his constituency, was this woman who said that she came back from buying some food only to see that a house being burnt with her whole family in.
And the reason being? Why?
That's ethnic cleansing.
Okay.
That's persecution that's going on there. And she said her neighbor's house was the same. Right? Now, she said she was like in standstill shock. And she saw the neighbor's child standing out there. All she could do was grab the child and run for her life. Otherwise, both of them are going to be killed. Now, she said she ran and she saw this boat that was going to leave, and she just jumped into the boat because that is what she had to do to save her life. Now, if you are in that situation, if I was in that situation, I would do the same as what she did.
Okay. Any other stories that you have heard regarding refugees?
Yes, we have had 3 young children who was brought by boat, and when we documented the cases, and they were telling of how they had to run because one is she saw her own mother and her sister being raped. Right? She saw her own father being killed and the body just being thrown. She was so traumatized, she didn't know what to do. She said she ran out of the home, just walking the streets and walking the streets. She was hungry, she was crying. There was no one to help her because many other people in her Rakhine state were in the same situation. Until she said she met one woman who approached them and said, do you want to go away for safety and get a job? You know, you can work as a domestic worker. And therefore they were put in a boat. They didn't pay any money. They were put in a boat and brought to Malaysia.
Oh, they didn't pay any money?
They didn't pay any money.
But why would they?
Because they know that these 3 children didn't have any money. But they were told that when they come here and they are being sent to work in a hole, they can earn the money and they have to pay the trafficker a little sum every month. So that's what they have been told. So for them it was okay. It's better to be out there safe than to be here hungry.
But I heard a lot of horrid stories regarding their treatment on the boat. Rape, forced marriages, beaten to death, starvation.
You can imagine there's 600 people on the boat. And how kind can everyone be? So this is the thing. We are helping them based on humanitarian basis. We are not asking, the government to legalize them or maybe open our door to all refugees around the world. We are not. We are just helping those because they are in need. They need help. How can we let them drift at sea without food, without water? And there's children in the boats. They need milk. They need, all the nutrients. And you can see from the pictures that were taken by the foreign journalists how skinny they become, how skeleton they are.
And they were crying also.
They were crying. They wanted food. They were drinking their own urine. People die on the boat. There are illnesses. And then they see people being thrown out from the boat. It's like, jump to the sea or we'll shoot you kind of thing. So as a human, this is pledged from a human to another human. Can you see that? What if it's happened to your own family? What if you are in their shoe? So just reverse and think. We're not doing this for fame. We are not doing this, to push anyone to legalize the thing. But we are just doing it as a humanitarian gesture. So because this thing is between the government to the government, only they can settle this issue. So as a citizen, what we can do is provide aid as much as we can, and any possibilities of handing them the aid is what we are looking at now.
I'll come back to that at the end, but I need to let's talk about why are they fleeing. Why would they be persecuted? Many people do not know the history about Rohingya and why they are facing persecution. Can you tell us more about that?
I think if we talk about the Rohingyas, you look at history, right? Rohingyas, I think it is wrong to say that they belong to Bangladesh. They are called Bangladeshis. They're called Bengalis, right? Now, right from the 12th century, right? Rohingyas have been living in what is now known as the Rakhine state, right? Now, they were called, the country itself was called Rohan. And that's how the name Rohingyas have come about. So that's their land. They belong there, right? It's only much later that we talk about the 20th century, 21st century, where the word Burma came in and Myanmar now is known as. Now, that is their land. That is their country, right? And for now to be told that you don't belong here, hey, you are not one of us, get out from here. And for you to get out, the ways and means for the state is to start beating them, start making children work. You are not allowed to work so that you can feed yourself and your family. You have to go around and scouge for food, right? And with all these horrible atrocities, we documented 100 women who had to flee because they were either raped, the mothers were raped, fathers killed, brothers taken away. So they fled through Thailand. Only in the course of even their travel, they were raped. And it's after 3 months that they have managed to cross over into Malaysia. Now, you look at the trauma, at what they've gone through. Can I tell them, no, get lost. Go back to that tragedy. Go back to that horrible experience that you have suffered. We don't want you. No, we can't. We are human beings. This is our land, our world. We talk about our one world. We talk about an ASEAN world. We need to help each other. How can I chase them away? I need some form of support that needs to be given to them. They are like me, right? And they are actually beautiful people. We've been working for, I first came to know of Rohingyas when in 1971. Children who were begging. It's 4 decades. And till today, we treat them so badly in this country. Doors are being closed. Where would they go?
There are lots of refugees in Malaysia. I heard in KL alone, we have more than 100,000. So what have been done to help them? Or what are the living conditions that they're facing currently?
Currently, legally, they're not allowed to work here. But we know that they need to
and they do not have access to medical, to education,
even to survive, basic day-to-day food.
So the government has been sweeping this issue under the carpet so far.
Definitely, I think NGOs, activists, and have been bringing up this whole question of even to ASEAN. And we recently only had the ASEAN Summit meeting and the ASEAN People's Forum, right? And we can see that it just falls into deaf ears. You turn away. You keep blaming them. And I also would tell this to Malaysians when you had the opportunity to assist them, right? And the whole issue is because within ASEAN, you don't want to interfere in another ASEAN country. Malaysia invited ASEAN in, right? For what? Now we are asking, is it for business only? Or is it because you want to help the people out there? Right. So I think it is ASEAN countries, including Malaysia, to start taking and holding Burma accountable for what Rohingyas are going through, and also to Bangladesh. Why should the migrants, be allowed to come here? And I think in all this is corruption.
Well, a lot of people might argue that what can the government do? What can Malaysia's government do? Even the Myanmar presidential official March Zor Sai said that his country will not accept the allegations by some that Myanmar is the source of the problem. They do not recognize that this is their problem. So many countries are just kicking this ball around, and the refugees are just stuck. Well, what's your take on it? How can we, our Malaysian government, do anything about it?
Well, we are chair of ASEAN today, right? And you have been in ASEAN for so long. For me, my question would be, why wasn't action taken when so many people are being persecuted? And ethnic cleansing is going on. When you see children and women are suffering, right? I think if there is that political willpower, you can bring change within. We say we ASEAN, we are one family, right? Hold them accountable. But what is important now is we can ask questions later. We can talk about what a discussion should take place. But today for me is these people are suffering out in the sea. They are dying day by day. Shouldn't we stop the death? And that means we, as human beings, we must reach out to those who are there. They're human beings too. They are suffering. Children, we can't bear to see children. No, they're just bones and skins and crying out for food.
And water.
We have so much of food and water, why can't we share? And that's why can't Malaysians come forward and say, hey look, we are here, take this. Go out there and give it to them. And I think that should be the approach.
Well, Hayati's group is doing this currently. I'm really proud of you guys.
Thank you.
But there are a lot of people who are asking me, hey, how are your group going to donate this or send these provisions to them? How do you guys reach them?
Okay, we don't have, like, I put a disclaimer there. We have no guarantee that this aid will go to the boat people because we are depending on a third party. But based on trust, because in life we just need to, believe and trust that, these provisions that we provide to them will go to the right party. But we are also concentrating for those who is at the camp now, like things like blankets, pillows are lacking there. So maybe we can help them in there. And at the same time, we have more than 100,000 refugees here. So I've put a disclaimer, should this aid does not reach the boat people, it will be used for the refugees in the country. And I think this is another important thing. The only thing is like coming into my mind now, why is only people blaming Malaysia, Thailand and Indonesia? Why can't these people, Asian group, pressure Myanmar and ask them what's going on?
Aung San Suu Kyi is keeping quiet on this issue.
Yes,
I wonder
and it's
why.
disappointing. She's a Nobel Prize winner and she's keeping mum over this issue. And isn't she supposed to be fighting for the women and the children as well? So it's like everybody is asking the big question now, where is Aung San Suu Kyi?
Okay. I heard that the Home Minister Ahmad Zahid had said that NGOs are welcome to help, and they open up Balante detention depot for provisions to be sent there. But recently, you had an experiencing that you guys they have moved that center to another place.
Okay, as we understand that the naval base in Langkawi the store is already full with provisions. Then you do not allow public to go to Camp Balante, so they have opened up a one-stop center at the immigration office in Alostar. So any kind of provisions can be sent there.
But those provisions are sent to the detention camp only, right? Not for the boat people.
No.
Is Malaysian Navy or the government sending any aid or food or water to the boat people?
That is what we heard, but there's no evidence.
Okay.
Yeah, but we hope whatever we hear is just like true stories, that the navies are providing water and food for the boats that they come across at our water.
Okay. So what happens, Aegile, what happens to the boat people now?
Well, for me is that I think let's not look at national security, let's not look at threats, and there are a lot of NGOs, including NGOs from Asia and around, who are on standby. There are a lot of Malaysians who called us and said that they're willing to take a week off from their work, and they have been experienced in humanitarian aid, that they are willing to go out. But if only permission was granted, you know, and if people can come forward, let's hire some boats and just send some provisions to them. But what I would say is, what's wrong in bringing the boats ashore? Let's give them the aid, humanitarian aid first. I think if it is shared among the ASEAN countries, right, there would be equal distribution. Let's look, international aid can come in and we can treat them, we can give them food. Let's after that discuss what to do.
Okay.
And
So currently the government does not allow NGOs to go out to
no,
help?
we have asked whether we can help, but it's no at the moment. So actually, I think there must be some transparency. Something that the government should come out and say, okay, you can do this. Okay, you cannot do this, we will handle this.
Did they give the reason why NGOs are not allowed to go out to help?
No.
Strange.
We were asking a possibility of hiring a boat and instructing the food at the boats, but they mentioned security is an issue.
Okay.
But we were wondering if the security is an issue, why can't the Navy vessel just, come with us, or any form of security that can come with our boats and just drop the food there. But the situation is changing every day. They are either in Thailand water or Malaysian water, and most of them now are heading to Aceh, because Aceh is, I think, opening the door now at the moment for them to land.
But from here to Aceh, how long does it take? Do they have enough water and food for them to last?
You see, we don't know because
Yeah.
no one is allowed. But I think there is Malaysia is obligated to reach out, because even though we have not signed the UN Convention, but I think what in place is we have what we called UNCLOS, where the UN Convention of the Law of the Sea. And in it is clearly stated that when there are people in distress in the sea, the maritime agency must rescue them. And I think we should be obligated to do that and not put obstacles, and say that there'll be a large exodus. Let's handle one step at a time. Let's stop people from dying, from not getting aid. I think that's the most important.
Michelle, can you introduce this book? I think a lot of Malaysians do not understand the conditions about refugees and refugees in Malaysia. So Tenaga Nita has come up with this book. If you would, how can people order or buy this book?
Okay, we came out with this book in 2008 because we have been telling the governments of what's happening to refugees and how the human trafficking is increasing, but it has all fallen to deaf ears. So we wanted the people especially to know what's happening. So we came out with this book where it is really the testimonies of the refugees themselves, of how they have been trafficked, and testimonies of even how they're being sold at the border to the fishing boats. Now, at the present moment, it's in demand. We've gone out of print, but it's being printed now. Do call us
at Tenaga Nita.
Tenaga Nita
03777-03691. And you guys are recruiting volunteers also, right? To
That's
help.
right. Yes.
Okay. Any Malaysians who would like to help, please contact Tenaga Nita. And Hayati, your organization. This is not the first donation drive. You guys have also helped during the Kelantan flood, and also the I Want to Touch a Dog event. You guys have been doing a lot of amazing work, right? And let's say Malaysians, if you would like to donate to the refugees, please call Hayati, Syed, or Rosina. This is the number. Can you help me to read this? The print is too small. I can't see.
You can call Rosna at 012-303-4047. Myself, Hayati, 019-318-5667. Outside Azmi at 016-218-4769. And all donations, if possible, bank it in directly to Food Aid Foundation at a Maybank account number 564-7816-5577, and email us a confirmation slip, and I will provide you a tax exemption receipt as well.
Okay, so this time you guys are not receiving food donation, just money and life jackets.
Money and life jacket. The reason is like we want to save on logistic costs because we can get the provisions in Kedah itself rather than bringing it all over from KL and having to pay lorries and hiring, getting volunteers into pack. Might as well we just get it from a wholesaler in Kedah and send it to where it's supposed
And
to
the
be
life
sent.
jacket?
The life jacket we are collecting, but most people are banking in money because we can get it in bulk at cheaper price. So if you were to bank in the cash donation, we'll just purchase it in bulk and we can get more life jackets.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. We really hope that we can work together to solve this problem and help refugees in suffering.
Yes, we can
Yes.
as Malaysians.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And that was the news on Rat Times TV. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same channel.